Welcome back to another cooking video. I'm Chef Devo and today I'm going to teach you how to make a beautiful steak tartare with a cornetto cone. Now first thing you need is an egg yolk. So I'm just going to take my egg, crack it open, scoop the yolk out, place it in a bowl just for a sec. Okay, now in normal steak tartare you just use the raw egg as is. But what I like to do is I like to cook it sous vide inside some oil. And what this does is at 65 degrees Celsius for about an hour, it actually turns the egg into a different consistency, sort of like a sort of syrupy texture and much more creamier than normal egg yolk. So what you do is just put your egg yolk inside some extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's fully submerged. Okay, so after placing your egg yolk inside the oil, what you do is you place it inside the sous vide machine. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just clamping the beaker to the sous vide machine so it doesn't move about. Now if you don't have a clamp, you can just use some sellotape or something else, just keep it in place for the hour. And during this hour, what's going to happen is the protein strands inside the egg yolk are going to start to unravel, and this is going to restrict the movement of the molecules inside it, which is going to create a much creamier texture, and it's sort of going to gellify the egg yolk. It's not going to make it hard, it's just going to make it perfect, like a perfectly boiled egg. You just have, instead of a runny egg yolk, you have a slightly more syrupy egg yolk. And that's just a beautiful texture to have. Now, don't worry about it too much if you haven't got a sous vide machine like this one. Instead, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to the supermarket and buy some pasteurized eggs. Pasteurized eggs basically are eggs which have been cooked at 55 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. And at 55 degrees Celsius, the protein strands don't unravel, so they look exactly the same as normal eggs, except for they are completely bacteria free, so there's no chance of getting infected with salmonella or anything like that. Now at the 65 degrees Celsius that we've been cooking them at, the salmonella bacteria dies out in about 3 to 4 minutes. So since we're cooking it for an hour, it is completely safe to eat. There's no problems there. Okay, that's enough about bacteria and salmonella viruses. Let's move on to prep some more stuff. Okay, so now you add a little bit of Philadelphia cream cheese into a mixing bowl or an electric mixer, and a little bit of cream, and then some wasabi. Okay, so you want to just grate it really finely on a shark skin paddle board. If you want to know more about wasabi and grating it, then click on the link on the top left corner of the screen to learn more about that. And then you just scoop it up with your finger and you add it in. Now just blend it all together inside a mixer. Oh yeah, I ended up adding a little bit more wasabi. What you want to do is just mix it, taste it, see how it is. You don't want an excessive amount of wasabi taste, but you do want it to be prominent. So just add as you see fit. Now I'm going to put it inside a bag so I can pipe it out. I'm just going to grab a plastic bag, grab the corner, and curl it around, make a hole, and then fill it in. Okay, perfect. Then just pull it back out again. Okay, press it down to the corner. Okay, and then keep this till later and just snip the end off when you need to pipe it out. Now to make your bread cornetto. What you do is you take a baguette and a very sharp knife, and then you cut it as you were going to do with sashimi slices, but very, very thin. First one cut to get started. And you slice the bread into very thin, long slices. Okay, and then what you do is you just roll it up into a cone. Now at this point, you put a toothpick through it to keep it in place, and place them face down in an oven at about 180 degrees to 200 degrees and check up on it every 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so once they come out of the oven, they'll be crispy and solid, and they'll fit perfectly inside a shot glass like this. This is what they were designed to be fit into. Nice way to hold them up. Okay, now for the steak component. What you want is to make this steak tartare. Basically, you go to a butcher's and you get a great quality piece of meat with as minimal possible fat in it or connective tissue. In fact, no connective tissue whatsoever. So for this, I bought a nice piece of sirloin steak, and then I sliced the sirloin into 1 centimeter thick slices, and then I took these slices and I cut them into 1 centimeter thick strips, and then I piled these strips up and diced them into small even-sized cubes. Finished off by chopping it up a little bit more to get a nice finely chopped tartare. Alright, so now you make your sauce for the tartare. What you do is you take your sous vide egg, place it inside a bowl, and pop it. Look at that marvelous syrup-like consistency. And then you add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just about that much, and a little spoon of mustard. Okay. 1 or 2 drops of Tabasco. A little bit of Lea and Perrine sauce, a little squirt of lemon juice, some Heinz ketchup, and then you mix it. Give it a little taste, and you want to make sure it's perfectly balanced flavors. You don't want to have anything jumping out at you. You don't want it to be too spicy, you don't want it to be too sour, or you don't want it to be too creamy. You want it to be just perfectly even. Okay, so once it's done, just transfer it over to a little bowl. And then you add your meat. In the same bowl, it's fine. Add a little bit of parsley, a little bit of chopped capers, then add a little bit of chopped shallots, then season with a bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. Then what you just do is you want to give it a little mix. Just to get all the ingredients nice and evenly mixed. And then add a little bit of your sauce. You start by adding a little bit and then mix it in. And then try it. If you feel it needs some more sauce, then you add a little bit more and you keep mixing, and then so on until you get the right consistency. It's very easy to add some more sauce. It's very difficult to take away. So just go slowly at first until you get to just the right amount. And always important to just keep tasting. Okay, so once this is done, then it's time to assemble your cornetto. Okay, so now to assemble it all and bring it all together. What you do is you take a little bit of your steak tartare and you place it inside your cone. Just like so, maybe just a little bit more. Just be a little bit generous. Great. Then you cut the corner off your bag. You square a little bit in. A little goes a long way here. Okay. And now you finish it off by adding some chopped chives, which I happen to have here on the board. Et voila! A beautiful little tartare cornetto done. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please try to make this at home and don't forget to subscribe.